of the agenda. Joel Zentis.
Who first did it?
Wayne.
Thank you.
Those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried. Next on the agenda is our financial report.
You should find in your folder, in the correct order, the pink, yellow, green, and brown sheets. So the revenue, which is reflected in the cash receipts, and then the expenditures, which is reflected in the check expenditures. So not a lot on the pink sheet because this is the last meeting where you will not have a percent of budget included. Because tonight, hopefully you will, well, by October 31st, you have to approve a budget. So by the next board meeting, you will have a budget amount for every one of these and then be able to see the percent of budget of revenues expected, which will be very helpful. We'll talk a little bit later when we get to the approving the levy about what that'll look like. So those numbers, there wasn't, I did mention to you that equalization aid, the first of 4 payments did come in probably a day or two before the last meeting, so that wasn't on this, but not a lot of new on the pink. The yellow is a little bit more telling, and when you get to the yellow, you'll see, oh yeah, we really haven't done much. The only thing I'd say on the pink that we'll save for later is revenues are about $1.3 million so far this year. Cash receipts, as you flip through, you're welcome to ask questions, but for the most part, it's student fees, there's some small donations, there's going to be donations made for that scoreboards in the elementary gym that a fellow was collecting. So band rental, kind of your typical athletic passes, family passes. I think there was only one, as I looked through, notable, this 832 on page 4, I thought, oh, that's notable. It was a Fund 21 cross-country fundraiser, online fundraiser. So it was just probably selling
T-shirt.
butter braid and t-shirts, right? Oh, probably their apparel sales. Nothing else. There's another t-shirts that was a little bigger than your 40 or 70. Volleyball, well, that's a health insurance payment. So that's people paying us for their health insurance, usually our retirees. But there was, and I'm looking for it because I didn't mark it, there was on page, that's it, 8, 2 rebates. We do from time to time get rebates, one 5,100, one 8,700 from CESA 5. So sometimes we pay for services that we're expecting to get, or we pay for a student $37,000 a year for a student in the special school that you're going to approve tonight, a new location, hopefully. And then that student moves to a new district. So they will rebate some of those funds to us, or they'll rebate us because we didn't need as much support on a grant because we didn't get that grant. Other than that, in cash, I did not see anything other than band rentals and Fund 21s and scoreboard donations and the like. But I did want to point out that CESA 5 rebate. That takes us to expenditures. On the green, again, until you approve a budget tonight and then that gets entered into Skyward Cumulative, this isn't super useful information for you. Because you can't see, well, yes, we spent $79,000 on undifferentiated income or curriculum in the elementary school. What did we budget to spend? Well, if we budgeted to spend $40,000, you're in trouble, Jamie, get to work. If we budgeted to spend $400,000, you're about the right place. So next month you will have all of those figures, and that is something we have let Skyward know we're unhappy with, and so are the other 210 schools that have converted to Q. But I wanted to point out earlier, I said our revenues on the pink were 1.3 million. If you notice in Fund 10, our expenditures are 2.1 million, and if you include all funds on the last page, it's 2.44 million. This is why we have a fund balance, because October and November are our tough months. We're not in tough shape because of good management and good decisions by the board over the last couple of years, and the community supporting a referendum. So we now have a fund balance that can handle spending 2.4 million and only receiving 1.3. Finally, the monthly checks and wires, it's like 25 pages. I went through 90% of this you got on Friday. The last 3 pages are new because We ran some checks on Friday or Monday that we added tonight. The very last page is that busing report with recent and then total expenditures broken out by transportation, contract, co-curricular trips, field trips, and then the excess fuel charges for both companies. So that's pretty cool. The only thing I'll go through slowly, right there on the first page, Jamie Delakuski received $1,249.36 in ACH. It says cell phone July through September. That's because the rest of it didn't fit. Cell phone July through September, I turned this in a couple months ago, but it's just getting caught up, was 150 of that. Lions dues and fees from the last year was like 200 of that. Summer legal seminar was 288 of that for the hotel and whatever else, and conference. And then 3.5 months of mileage was $610 of that. So I just wanted to break that out to you in every area. Normally it would have been, but it didn't all fit there. So
Why, you say it didn't fit there, but why is there so many, like the next thing below that, there's a couple of minuses, and later on here, there's.
Oh, I'm gonna talk about those.
pluses
Yep.
and minuses.
we'll get you.
Pluses
There's a
and-
very easy, and I'm gonna show you the explanation. Good question though, and you'll like it, because I like when I can actually answer questions, and it makes sense. Bottom of page 2, WC audit, that's our workman's comp audit, happens every single year. I didn't have a lot of questions, and you can flip through slowly, but things I thought, oh, you probably will have a question about that. CISA trainings on page 7, 6,235, that was for letters training. There was like six folks that needed to catch up on their letters training, and then the bulk of that, I think well over 3,000 of that was for, I will call it de-escalation training. You know what brand we use, principals? The brand of de-escalation training that we do? CSI. That is, you're working with a kid and remember, CPI, that's it. So when we have to protect a kid from harming himself or others, that is the point where we're allowed legally, as a last resort, to safely put hands on a child. And this is a training that lasts all day, that costs us a lot of money, that we have to do every year. So anybody involved with discipline or special education gets that training.
Back a page.
Yes, ma'am.
26. There's a Kerber Rose.
Yep, that's your auditor.
Is that a one-time payment?
Nope,
or is
that's
that
like 3.
That's
but-
how much it costs to do an
yeah,
audit?
About
Wow.
27,000, I believe. If we had 2 or 3, maybe it's half, but well, that would be 20. So that would be 20,000, 21,800. That's probably the regular audit, and then there's another like 5,000 for federal funds audit. I'm guessing that's pretty typical. That was actually
A couple of years ago, I only paid 5,000 or something.
oh that the other company like 3 or 4 years ago, that long 4 letters, Miller, they were
Mills,
15,000 and
Russells.
3,000. They dumped us in 48 other districts, and everybody got greedy and said, 48 districts are stuck. So we actually were lucky to get Kerber Rose as low as we did, because other districts our size got higher bid.
So can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Kind of for audits and just.
Yeah.
So like, when you have something like, page 3, and you've got the invoice description, when they come and audit, do they sit down and look for all those invoices?
So typically what they do, we have to have evidence for every single purchase and every single expenditure,
do.
and every single cash receipt for every single one. What they do is they bring a team of about 6 people to this table for about 3 days, and they will say, what they used to do 3 or 4 years ago is, hey, I need a receipt for purchase number, 989519. And Amy or Wendy and then Jody would run upstairs, look through boxes. Now, because of Cume, every single purchase has a receipt attached to that purchase order. So
We're
now
supposed to.
is supposed to. So now 90% of them, they sit here with all their computers out. They get access. Skyward gives them access. All auditors get this to go right into our Cume, and they have to ask maybe 5 questions at the end. Because they say, all right, we're gonna pull these 2,000 random purchases, boom, 98% of them make sense or have the documentation they need, and then they call in Cindy or Jody or myself and say, hey, Nobody, resources for $2.90 and 75 fall preview. You didn't have a receipt for that, I need an explanation. And then we start calling teachers and say, what the heck was nobody fall preview? Somebody knows, usually the principal is there. But yeah, good question. So yeah, every single thing has to
It
have,
just got me thinking, because some
evidence.
chick up in northern Wisconsin got busted for embezzling $200,000. So I thought,
Mhm.
So now, I have a question on the work comp audit.
yeah,
Now, they come in and do we ever get dividends back for any of that? Do we?
we
Is
do.
there a dividend, where does that show up?
Our dividend is, I think right now, well, first of all, you know you get dividends back when you don't
Correct.
have you need a lot of coverage. Last year, we had some unfortunate events that we had to cover. This year, we were expecting, I think, a 19% dividend. And you know how it is, we used to be at 0.7, you probably know what these numbers mean, which is really good. We went up to a 1.1, that's not good.
No.
And then your dividend shrinks. And I was thinking we were doing really well, and I just saw something in the last 48 hours that, you know, and that it is what it is. You can't cry over spilled milk.
That's what you have.
That's what you have it for. It's insurance, but
But in historically, we have gotten dividends on a
Yes.
return.
absolutely.
Okay. all right.
Yep, good question. Yeah, this district has done historically fairly well.
Yeah, we have.
On page 16, Jim asked about the void or the minuses. On page 16, well, they were from probably about 18 things, because sometimes the printer will print a $0 check. They don't know exactly why it happens. It's happened about once every 8 months. So it printed this check for Huddle Huts, check number 989574 for $0. And the cross-country supplies, $0 related to that invoice. And when she prints checks, she prints 18 checks at it. You know, she goes through all these accounts payable, and now Heather's going through all these accounts payable, finishes up all the accounts, and when she's all done, double checks, triple checks, hits print checks. It's the last thing she does. But when that 0 check comes into play, and then it prints the next 18 checks, now we legally have to go in, we have to show you that. We have to show you that we had to void all those check receipts, and the auditors have to see that they were there. So we can't just say, oops, tear them up and start over. That is all in here, and I believe if you counted, well, basically there's 3 regulars, and then I see 4 voids on the bottom of page 16. Half of page 17 is voids. There's Huddle Huts again, but voided that one out. We even have to show you that we voided out the $0 check.
Because they're basically one check off.
Yes.
Exactly.
Because the check number doesn't match the expenditure.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, it's probably happened to everyone, and it's very frustrating when
Worse
it
yet,
does.
when you print something on your computer, and you print it onto a check.
Yeah.
Secretary hates that.
So essentially, it's a printer glitch,
Yes,
so it's not,
or a program glitch,
or a
but
program,
yes,
it has nothing to do with staff.
correct, yeah, at that point, yep.
I'm dealing with a big company, investment, and they sent two checks, they were my dividends. 2 checks, same amount, same number, the same number of checks, same amount. So I call them up, and it's a recording. It says, if you got 2 checks, just throw one away.
Oh.
Yep.
It's Comcast, it's a big company.
Wow.
Gee, I wonder how that happened.
And it must happen an awful lot, because it was a recording. The phone answered, didn't ask, push numbers or nothing, that.
Just said, here you go.
Any other questions? I know I've answered quite a few as we went through it, but anything else on any of that, or checks in particular? I know that's always,
Back on page 6,
I'm coming,
up towards the top,
yes, sir.
the final scoreboard payment, Richmond Electric Train for 10,000, so was there more payments, or how much was that?
I'm looking.
Third entry down.
Eau Claire Children. Oh, okay, this is one of those things where I'm gonna look at this. 10,500, that would probably be a little over half, because the 2 scoreboards were about, it was about, I would say 11,000 and 8,000, I remember, they did, and what when we approved that, it was the 2 scoreboards, and it was about 20,800. So, Yeah, so that would be about half.
So that's from a whole bunch of donations or one or what?
I would have, oh no, that's from,
That's the payment, Bush
Yeah.
and Electric.
Yeah. what the board approved, gosh, does anybody, was that even? When we started this, when Zach Beggs had me ask the board to approve this, it was he was gonna go out and raise all these donations. And I think he would tell you, he got donations of $50 and donations of significantly more. And then we approved the sign, if you remember, just so you're not surprised, that we said it was okay to put that board on. So he's gonna put every donor on that board.
Mm.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Do we ever get any more when we get donations like that? I thought we have to admit how much they're spending on what.
Well, like this one was big enough that I wanted the board to approve it before it even started, improve the process from start to
When
finish.
did we do that?
Oh, I'd have to look.
Couple of
Almost,
months.
at least a year.
Or-
Oh, yeah, maybe last spring.
Yeah, because he.
Okay, so that was
Yeah.
the third time I missed a meeting in my thing. when
You
I
didn't
was
miss
in
any in
hospital.
spring. Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, could have been. Could have been. Yep. Any other questions?
Bottom of page 9,
Yes, sir. Lippin.
who's got $1,000 chair?
White or brown?
White.
Chair, school specialty.
Well, it shouldn't be at page 9.
Oh, it's a, I know what it is.
Thank goodness.
It's a,
Oh, it's a
it's sped, it's a sped chair.
special education chair for a particular student.
Yeah, I was wondering about.
I was gonna say, I don't think
Somebody
anybody in
had
this district has $1,000.
Mine.
Or Jody Coggins. Yes, Dakota?
Two quick questions,
Yes, ma'am.
both are actually on page 8, can you?
Yep.
One, can you explain what a sub reimbursement is? Like, why would a sub get a reimbursement for something?
Because the sub actually taught, say, a foods class and did, much like our teacher for that food class does, will stop on the way here, buy the girl shoes in the morning.
Oh, like
and they get
supply,
reimbursed,
okay,
yeah.
it's a supply reimbursement.
Correct.
Okay,
Yep,
okay,
Good
and
question.
then, what is that mentally strong $1,100 for the boys basketball?
that is a Fund 21 purchase, so I'm guessing it's probably something they use their fundraising dollars for to team building. Do you know for
Yeah,
sure?
they have a speaker coming in a couple different times and she's gonna work with them on teamwork and things like that, so, yep,
That's cool.
and
Yeah.
leadership and stuff, yep.
Good question. Alright, anything else? Thank you. That's a lot of stuff.
All right, any other questions before we move on?
I'd make a motion that substitute bills are received.
Randy and Dakota. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? No. Motion carries. Alright, moving on to the public forum. Do we have anyone here this evening that would like to address the public forum? Okay, Virginia, let me read this thing. At this point, I would like to invite individuals to participate in the public comment portion of the meeting as established by board policy. This portion is limited to a maximum of 15 minutes. Each participant is to stand, identify themselves by name and address. Each participant's comments are limited to 3 minutes, and one participant's time cannot be shared with another participant. Comments must be directed to the presiding officer and no one else. Comments must be related to topics within the jurisdiction of the board. Comments about the job performance of specific employees should be addressed through the applicable board policies rather than during public comment. The views of participants do not reflect the views of the board. The presiding officer has the authority to enforce the public comment rules. Virginia.
Virginia McGregor and 5496 Second Avenue, Plainfield, over there in the west. Hi. I don't have anything negative to say today. Yay, have some applause. Yay. I'm here today to say that on Wednesday, November 12th, the Badger program, the Badger Boys and Girls program will be having their dinner. It is a spaghetti dinner for the participants, the past participants, and the upcoming participants who've just been chosen. And I did want to extend an invitation to anybody on the board or administrators who would like to attend that dinner. I will need to know by next Wednesday, because we're doing a head count,
November 12th,
November 12th. It's Wednesday, November 12th.
6 PM.
That the program is at 6, but you can show up at 5 and chat with the folks if you like. And of course, it's a free dinner. It's gonna be spaghetti and salad. So if anybody would like to participate in that, let me personally know, because I'm personally doing the cooking. I'm the one who needs to know how many folks are gonna be there, and I'd like to make the limit be like 80, so you need to know ahead of time. And that's really all I have to say today. Aren't you proud of me?
Yeah, where is it?
Where is it?
Community Center in Hancock.
It's at the Hancock Community Center, where we hold all of our dinners. And by the way, our chili dinner was a pretty good success, and community was very supportive, and we had a great time. So, but the spaghetti dinner coming up is the students who participated last June will have a chance to speak about their experience, and we will be introducing the students who are scheduled to go next June for their experience at the college. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you, Virginia.
All right, is there anyone else this time? Sure, Andrea.
Hi, Andrea Topper, 9103 County Road BB, Plainfield, Wisconsin. Just one brief thing. A year ago, actually, right after my daughter was born, we came in as a community and participated in a strategic plan discussion. And I know that after that, they were meeting with staff and making a game plan, within internal the school as well. Just curious where that's at. I think strategic planning is great if it's implemented, and that was one of the concerns I had raised at the meeting was when and how are we going to hear and see movement on this? So whether things are happening or not, I think it would be great to be able to showcase some of that and mention what has happened and what still needs to happen.
Thank you. Anyone else? Sure.
James Knudsen, W9820 Elk Avenue, Almond. I just wanted to address the board for a moment. At the last meeting, I asked about having a special meeting, and nothing happened. Yesterday, I called Madam President and talked to her a little bit, and she suggested I call and talk to Jamie, which I did. He had to talk to the lawyer, and he told me they said we couldn't. This afternoon, I called WASB to talk to one of the legal people down there, and they were tremendous. And, they just, whatever you ask them, they'll help you. And one of the things that, and I didn't even say nothing about the meeting, he told me that the board members have a right to call a special meeting. So I just wanted to say that. And the other thing he did say, I talked to him about a lot of things, but the other thing he did say, he said you should probably either talk to the board president, the secretary, or the superintendent about or which one to plan the meeting or whatever. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. Moving on to the consent agenda. We have items A through I. Go ahead, Ms. Mona.
Just a quick question. Would we approve for a hire for the office? Was that supposed to be on consent agenda for this evening?
No,
Okay.
because it was 2 reasons. The person was no longer interested about a week later. Are you talking about the? Yeah, the one that was tabled, or not even tabled, it was never brought up. Because it was never, nobody ever moved. It was never brought to the table. So it wasn't tabled, it was never even brought to the table.
Financial.
No, if you remember, that just became part of the budget.
Oh,
And I said that, yeah, we talked.
okay,
about it.
sorry,
Yep,
I didn't know.
That's okay,
I just.
no worries,
Okay, sorry. Just-
that's okay, good question, good fair.
Jim, do you have a concern?
We're on the consent agenda.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, the only thing I had on that, I guess, was that on the I one, we didn't get, think I only got one page of just the person's name and stuff.
Yep, because the printer kept getting stuck. So if you wanted that, yeah, yep. So there's nothing I have it, so you can definitely take a look at it. But yep, it's in the
Yeah, it was
email.
in the email.
I make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented, A through I.
Who's second it? I'm sorry.
Dakota.
Dakota, thank you.
All those in favor?
They sound really pretty.
All right. Next,
Could I back up 1 second on the consent agenda? On the page with Mr. D's report, on the thing he said about the area businesses and stuff, we should change that, well, also my name, that's no big deal.
Let me spell it.
T-
With a D,
T,
S-O-N.
no, the other way around. But what the one I'm worried about is Heartland Farms. We should treat them decent and put the right name in there.
Oh, misspelling.
H-E-A-R-T, not H-A-R.
Of the timer.
Especially if you're gonna have, they may have something in the December issue or something.
Yeah. Thank you for seeing that. Oh, and the S-T. I know that.
They spell it out.
I think those were just typos as we were going through. Thank you.
noted. All right, we have no unfinished business, so we will move on to new business. Item A, discussion and action to approve the budget and tax levy for the 2025-2026 school year.
Motion.
We need a motion and a second before we can even discuss this.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Randy and Jim Caesar.
Thank you.
All right, so in your packets, you have the budget adoption format, and if you are in that general area, the most important parts of that I want you to, that you're approving tonight are, one is your budget balance. And it did take a lot of hard work. It honestly did, because what's been happening over the last 3 years, and if Wes were here, kind of do this for him, we're trying to get less padding. Remember 5 years ago, thank you, your health insurance and your wages often weren't decided till September, October, so you were really guesstimating on a lot of these. Now our health insurance and wages are coming in April, so we are able to actually, already in that first budget that you approved, that looked a lot like this in April, have some real numbers. But with those real numbers, we were able to have an ending balance of $10,591,000, which is $200,000 less than last year. And we understand that that needs to be the case because of declining enrollment. We do need to lower our costs. And so that's important to note. But you'll notice at the end of expenditures, that same number of $10,591,350 is in there. And that includes 2 of your 3 roof payments, I believe. Yes. That includes some money for replacement parts and for HVAC units that need repairs that we understand cost thousands and thousands of dollars. So there is actually a school vehicle in there. There's $60,000 in that budget for a school vehicle. We had that in the budget last year. Last year we decided not to purchase that because we wanted to put those dollars towards the roof. This year in April, we'll have that same discussion with the board. You know, where are we at? How are we doing? What do we want to do? Do we want to buy the van? Do we want to buy a stripped down Suburban and a little Ford Focus Eco Cruiser? Because so many of our trips are 1 person or 2 people, and then what we need is Teresa to be able to take 8 people at once, which I think a Suburban can do. It's the closest thing, our liability. But the other thing you need to note, so because they're in one motion in this district, which is totally appropriate, the local sources 210 taxes, that's also up on the board, is $4,638,054. That included with your community service is, which is your 800s there at the end, is $4,788,054 in a tax levy. What I'd like to point out about our tax levy is, and I'd like to, and this is going to be in an article. Our levy rate, our mill rate, last year was $7.02. 2 years ago, our mill rate was $7.77. That is, for everybody who doesn't memorize this stuff and eat and sleep this stuff, your mill rate is how many dollars you pay per $1,000 of valuation. Most of us have homes that cost more than $1,000. Let's just say per 100,000, then multiply that times 100, and it's $777 is what you paid to the school. So on your taxes, there's school, there's technical college, there's county, there's municipality. What you pay to the school is $777 2 years ago per 100,000. We told the community, but that will come down, and it doesn't, even though the referendum's in place forever, it will continue to come down every year because the government, the state, ups their half. That's why last year it dropped from $777 to $701 per $100,000 of your home. This year it's dropped down to $677 per $100,000 of your home. Now, does that mean your taxes are going down? Not necessarily, because if you got assessed and your $190,000 property just got reassessed at $270,000, well, yeah, you're paying $30 less per 100,000, but you're also paying another $90,000 of value. And Wayne helped me discover this. The Department of Revenue, in the meantime, has also said those 14 municipalities that make up the District of Tri-County, we're going to reassign what percentage of the school tax each municipality pays based on their population. So if people are moving into the village of Plainfield and out of the town of Oasis, then even if Wayne's doesn't get reassessed and Jim doesn't get reassessed, Wayne's taxes are going to go up a little bit and Jim's are going to go down a little bit. Because more people in the latest census, they think, live in the village than live there.
Jim wouldn't because he lives in Elm.
Yeah.
Fair enough. He still pays school tax.
Not too sure.
So the good news is our taxes, our mill rate is going down. I can't tell you what your personal taxes will do because I would have to see, and I'd have to be a tax accountant who knows a lot about property taxes. I can tell you that the school's mill rate has gone down almost $1 per thousand, or $100 per 100,000. The school's mill rate. And again, I explained the assessment. The other things I want you to know is you approve, hopefully, and we kind of have to, approve the tax levy and the budget. Please note that when we are taxing our district, 188 plus 32, so about $210,000 of those tax dollars that the property taxes are paying, 210,000 goes directly to private school vouchers and 2 private school voucher programs for about 18 students in our district that attend private schools. That number has gone up. Do I have it here? That number has gone up 2015-16. The state collected about $142,000 or $142 million. This is fuzzy. In 10 years, that has more than doubled. Not 280, but 381, plus this new program, which is special ed vouchers. 380. So here it was about 142 million, all vouchers. This year, they're going to collect about $600 million in vouchers from public taxpayers and public school districts and redirect those to private schools. So I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing. There are arguments on both sides. I just wanted you guys to know as you approve, and you can't not approve it. Sorry, but you can't. That is one of the things that's happening. The only other thing I want to point out, and we're going to talk about this in an article. And again, we don't wanna be political, people do good and bad things on both sides of the aisle all the time, and it has nothing to do with party, but this year, for the first time, I think in the history of the state, even though our income went up $325 per student because of a law signed in a couple of years ago by the governor, the legislature offered no new dollars besides that, so that 325 times say 600 kids is 180,000. Remember, our health insurance loan went up about 160,000 this year. That would be with no raises in costs, no inflation. So that doesn't even cover inflation, unfortunately. And the legislature, when our certification of general aid came in at 4.26, if you compare that to last year, that was 4.375. It is the first time the state said we're giving you less. The general aid always went up, which offsets your property taxes. We are allowed to receive as a school district through state funding 800, let's just say 8.7 million dollars from state funding. 433.73 last year of that came from general state aid. This year, even less is coming. That has always gone up, which keeps your property taxes kind of even. We should have had a bigger drop in property taxes, but for this one year, for whatever reason, the legislature said, nope, we're not increasing your general aid at all. So our general aid actually went down by $100,000. That's something I'm going to try to write an article about without being political, but both of these decisions are opposite political parties. So that taxpayers understand, even though our mill rate went down, even though our mill rate for your portion of property tax went down, it should have gone down more. That maybe would have offset your reassessment. Yes, ma'am.
So do we not get any state aid to high poverty districts?
High poverty aid is one of the aids that they did away with a couple of years ago, I believe. That it's still on the sheet, but they just said, nope, you don't get that anymore. Sorry, Charlie. State aiding is
And how many billions are they holding back in the coffers?
that's the worst part.
That's the worst part, yeah.
Just in case.
Case. I just take the 600 million and go into, but, so that is your, that's not this year's. So your mill rate, your tax levy of 6.768, $6.77 dollars per $1,000 evaluation. This would be the dollar amount of that levy. And then the budget is what you have in front of you, which is a balanced budget and a budget of a little bit less. Hopefully, I just thought I wanted to give you more information this year because there's so much going on in the government. And wanted at least you guys and the people who are at the meeting tonight to be able to answer questions in case you get a call from a property taxpayer saying, hey, why did our mill rate go down by over $1 and we're still paying more? Well, two reasons. You might have gotten reassessed, and the state, for the first time ever, didn't increase general aid, which means you had to pay for it. So that's what I have. I hope that was pretty thorough, but if you have any questions, let me know. Oh gosh.
Budget questions?
That I can answer besides everything I just explained.
So I'm gonna ask them.
Oh, all right. Go ahead.
Community Service Fund,
Yes, sir. I got this one.
the 300.
Where you at?
Why is it down from 201,000 to a projected 125,000?
Fund 80 on the last page.
Expenditures or revenues?
I don't know what page it is.
Is it at the
Big
very-
number.
It's the 800s. I think you're in expenditures.
It's,
It's a
Yes,
300 in Fund 80.
It's the very last page,
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I think. Oh, I was on the wrong last page.
Community service lane.
Oh, mine got mixed up.
yeah.
I'm gonna wing it just because I know what you're asking about, even though I can't see it now.
Birdie
Mine got
has it.
mixed
Like
up.
a half a sheet.
Capital projects. There it is, thank you. All right, thank you. Because Community Service Fund covers anything that we provide equally for all of the community or percentages of things that we provide for the community. I'm gonna write these down so I don't forget. Right now, it covers our community safety officer, which has been allowed by the state for every school district.
Yeah.
So your community safety officer, your school nurse is covered by Fund 80. It's an agreement with the county. It's better for everybody in the district to have that school nurse. Your cardio center is covered, all the costs of the cardio center. Well, no, we have to do all the costs outside of the school day. And then, so like if we're gonna buy a new treadmill, we have to charge some of that to Fund 80 and some of that to Fund 10. Because some of that is for community use in the evening, some is for school use. Your pickleball courts, but they don't have a cost anymore, but part of that was funded by Fund 80 because it's available to the whole community. Most of it was funded by Beyblade Lions. But what would be a recurring cost? Oh, your huddle cameras are funded by Fund 80 because that takes our sports that are in the building and provides access to every single taxpayer in the district equally. So that can be covered by Fund 80. So there's a lot of costs, but I'm guessing we might have had, oh my gosh, the big one is wraparound care. Your every 4-year-old in this entire district. Now, the Fund 10 pays for your 4-year-old kindergarten. But the wraparound care that we voted in a couple of years ago to provide kind of daycare for all 4-year-olds in the district, whether they come to our 4K or not, all of those costs, and that's the predominance of them because we have a director, we have all of those costs are covered in funding. So I'm guessing that got added. We didn't know how much.
But it's a lot less.
Yeah, it went down.
It's $76,000 less.
So I think we only taxed $30,000 last year for Fund 80 because when we built that wraparound care, we said, holy cow, we might need to add on to the building. We might need to bathrooms and tear down walls and everything else. So we budgeted either 150 or 175,000 we taxed in Fund 80. And then that next year we built it and Scott basically put a door up it cost us like $6,000. So that next year we had this huge surplus, $204,000, the surplus, and we spent that all down. So there should be a revenue. So if you look back, there's a revenue of only $32,000 and then the 152. So that explains, so we spent down all that surplus and now should only have 125 left at the end of the year. Hope that helped. At least I gave you a bunch of information about it.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anything else?
Yeah.
Okay.
Revenues and other financing sources, it says 100. I don't know what page, because there's no numbers on these
It's
pages.
under the special project funds, funds 21, 23, 29.
21.
Under
Okay.
revenues and other
Try
financing,
mine.
the 100's under instruction.
Okay.
Instruction is going from 198,000 to 341,000.
Yeah, as soon as I find it, we'll know the answer.
It's 45 on our 45th page on our.
Yep. Revenues and other expenditures in Fund 21.
Yeah.
And I believe that is because, is that only Fund 21? I don't want to say
Well,
that.
it says 21, 23, and 29.
Oh yeah, so that's for us, that's only 21. That is donations. So that is not, those revenues are just projected donations. So we get $75,000 from Heartland Farms. We just got $20,000 for those things. There's an extra $100,000.
So this is just an optimistic number.
This is just a number.
Boy,
That-
you're optimistic.
Well, we typically get about $100,000 or $200,000 a year, so we just thought, let's up it by 100 because of those things we knew were coming in this budget year. All right, what else?
Same page.
Yeah.
On the bottom,
On it now.
610, the state aid categorical aid.
All right, that is a great question, and that is now you'll notice you're in Fund 27, which is everything special education. We have two things have happened. We have gotten, I'll just be honest, Barty Grancy is a whiz with how to charge things so that they get into Fund 27 and we get reimbursement. And we are now reimbursed. This is one of the things the state did that we were grateful for because they weren't going to do anything. We were promised 32%, that ended up being 29.4% because it's not actually funded. This year they're moving that up to 42%. So if I spend $1 million, last year I got $300,000 of that back from the state. This year I should get 420. That's your state aid. So we're projecting that, and the year after that, it should be 450. So we're projecting through better management of what we're billing in those Fund 27s, and mostly because the state increased aid by 12%, and we do spend over $1 million for special education. So that aid is $120,000 spent. Yeah, hey, I pretty much answered that one too. For being on the fly, I feel pretty good about that.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
It's in, this one's in the 700s under federal sources.
I see it.
730, DPI special project grants. Why is that going to basically cut in half?
Oh, I know the beginning, but what is the end? Title I carryover. 141, I'm good. 141, that was the last of our ESSER dollars, which were, you remember, federal special grants.
Okay.
Last year we didn't get them. And then we also carried over Title I funds of about $70,000, so that's why it's up again this year. But those are just title funds.
Same page, 2/3 of the way down.
Yes, sir.
160 co-curricular activities.
Uh-oh. So mine's on I'm 160, I'm there. All zeros. Say it again.
No, expenditures and other financial uses on that same page.
Yeah.
The 160 under co-curricular activities.
Mine's all zeros.
283,912.
Yours are all zeros.
Ours are all zeros.
So like if you're right, if you look at rates, yeah.
They must be looking at one page.
I've got the same.
I know what you're talking about.
You, Bert, you have
Yeah.
the same one that I have?
Yeah, that I printed off from.
Expenditures and other
Yeah.
uses, is that what you're looking at?
Yeah.
Instructions?
In 160 co-curricular activities.
160, up a couple.
Went up about
190,
80,
199,
4,000.
283. Okay. Yep. We did go through that, and that was, I'll say, generous budgeting. Partly because we are getting charged more for refs, and it really is in the thousands of dollars per sport. We're also having now to pay higher mileage payments. So, and she is budgeting that every team goes to sectionals, but again, it's a budget number. Right now, if you looked at that, I think we budgeted football, Andrea can vouch for this, we budgeted football like 22,000. If you go back to your expenditures, they've expended 12,000 and they're probably done for the year. Couple of things maybe, but their spending won't be, yes, football's pretty much done spending for the year. So we budgeted about 22 and they spent 12, that was just high budgeting. And some of it was because we didn't know how much it was gonna cost. All right.
First page,
Okay, thank you.
halfway down, 280, interest and investments. Why did it go from 76,000 down to 25?
Can't count on it. I think if you looked at our budgeted amounts, they're always, that is just
Well,
what,
the audited amount was $76,395.
yeah, it was a good year. This year we could lose 12%.
Well, we can do that any year.
I know, that's why we budget conservative on that one.
Well,
Because there were years, Wayne, where that was a $1,200 bucks. You were here for those years.
still am.
And there might be some more coming up in the near future.
Same page, down towards the bottom, 510 transit aids. They went down, they're going down?
And that's only 7,000, then 7,500,
Yeah, it's not
5,200.
big money, but I'm just curious.
Payment for services. Transit of aids. That is a different thing than. I don't know what that is offhand.
Oh,
You stopped. You
gotcha.
finally got me. Shoot.
How about right below that, 590, other intermediate sources?
Oh, come
What
on.
is that?
I don't know.
Probably stuff we have to have, and put a number in there to fill the spot.
That's it. I don't. You stumped me again. Thank you. Boy, I was doing really well. Now, see how it goes trivia night. Mr. on a different team.
Beat you to the punch, that's all.
I got 7 and you did. And I'm glad you will have fun too. We'll all have fun. Good cause. All right, anything else?
Questions? All right,
Any-
we have a motion with a second on the floor. All those in favor? of- Okay. Aye. Those opposed? I was gonna read this. Motion carries. The budget and tax levy for the 2025-26 school year. Okay, item B, discussion and action to approve the Village of Plainfield School Resource Officer contract.
I move to approve.
Second.
I just had the questions that I always do with now. We're gonna be paying $80 an hour for the person to be here if it's beyond 100, what is it, 560 or something, I don't have it.
540.
570. Okay, it's $80 an hour, is it not, or is it 88? I think it's $80. I just off the top of my head. First of all, do we ever get over that?
Nope.
Or I didn't think so.
And if they do, it says in the contract, it is with the explicit permission of myself and the village administrator. Both have to sign off that that's
And
allowed.
that's my deal. The village is very happy with stuff like that. It just.
But I have to.
I'm sorry, Wayne, but it just, it just goes against my grain.
It's
Okay.
gotta be approved, cause that's
Yeah.
the meeting that's.
Yeah, no, I,
That Randy actually helped me put that in the, thank you.
I'll call him.
One other, question though. Third page
Where are you going?
oh, okay, of the contract.
Yeah.
2/3 of the way down. Number 4, if the school is canceled for an unknown reason, whether hours towards that day will be counted.
That's been in that contract
Why?
for 3 years.
Cause
Ever
he got
since we
dressed
went
that
to
morning.
This format, ever since, cause that was one of the things that I questioned 3 years ago. And
Why are you
ever since we
allowing
went-
that?
Because,
$80 an hour.
cause he was already scheduled a work day.
Cause he scheduled a work day
Well, too bad, so sad.
and he's going to pull kids out of the ditch for us.
I'm not defending him, but he's not getting $80 an hour at that point.
Well,
that's true.
Right.
That's true.
Right. And the only thing I have is a question that it would be geared towards the village is to make sure that this is adequate enough for him to be able to do his job.
It's gonna be a discovery year.
Right, you know, because we're new, you know, we have a new face, and he's in a new place. And is this gonna be enough to cover him without us getting to the $80 an hour? You know, so that's and I don't know what you guys budgeted for him for part-time help.
Not a lot.
So if he doesn't have part-time help,
Yeah.
you're not helping, I can tell you that. That's a village thing, I'll take you up with the village president, but we got a motion, I'll call him.
And I call him.
Yeah.
You're a good man, Joe.
Yeah.
Just a quick question, in the off event that he gets to the, maybe this is just formality speaking, but in the off event that he gets to his aid, like a hour
5:40.
threshold,
Yeah.
and there's an emergency situation that happens,
He's
he's
absolutely.
going to respond,
Yeah.
right? Okay,
He
that's
works with it.
overriding.
That's for the village.
Anything that
It's a
happens in this
building within the
village.
So
Okay.
if he leaves here, so he puts his 3, 4, 5 hours, whatever he's working today, he leaves here and he's out on regular patrol, and an hour and a half later, he gets called back into school for something,
That's a village thing.
then that's a village thing,
Okay.
because
That was the only
that
thing I
would be
ever
something
wondered
they'd
reading
have to have
that
another
was.
officer respond to anyway.
If a minor
The other
base.
caveat to
He has
that
to,
is,
he has to respond.
he's here, something goes on within the school where he finds out that these kids are doing burglaries.
Yep.
Now he leaves and goes to the station, he's working on a burglary investigation, he's not working on a school
Right.
thing. It's really, the whole thing is kind of messed up as far as I was concerned.
I think I've seen a lot of these contracts, and every one of them are, this is the county's contract,
Probably.
because Nate got it from Wild Rose.
Wild Rose.
And then we got it from Nate, so this is the county's contract I've seen it forever.
And I'd just like to clarify that I believe very strongly in having that officer here at school.
Mhm.
I mean, to me, it's a necessity, and I think that, I think the one that's coming in and the one that was there before did a good job, so.
Yep. But I just wanna make sure that he's given the right opportunity.
Mhm.
Correct. Without lining the village's pockets, I have to say.
I'll call him. Jim's did 3 times.
All right. All those in favor?
I think you wanna, actually, because you want to abstain?
Yes.
Then we should do a roll
can
call.
that.
She can, but typically you do that in roll call, cause then it gets in the minutes.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
good call.
Well, then
Wayne
we'll
may
roll
also-
roll call. Cindy, you're gonna abstain?
Yep.
Brady,
Aye.
Abstain.
you're gonna abstain as well? Jim? Jim?
Aye.
Heidi? Mark, yes.
You made me last time. I don't know why I don't know why.
With
Well, I think you have to abstain either here or there. You can pick where you abstain.
Last year you said you abstained there, so we let you both hear last year.
All right, moving on to item C, discussion and action to approve the certificate of acceptance of donation of real estate in Stevens Point, Wisconsin by CISA 5.
I'll move to approve, waiting for discussion.
Yeah.
Alright.
Same, I'll second that.
I will try to give, I tried to put in the packet as much as, everything they gave me, and it wasn't much. Here's the deal, they got kicked out of their place in Waupaca.
Yep.
They have been, I think renting space from Charles Fernandez for like 6 months since they got kicked out. They have finally found a property that they deem and the state deems is appropriate in downtown-ish Stevens Point, just north of, but they have to. They want it, they wanna buy it. They have to, I believe, get a 2/3 majority of all 36 of the CISA schools to vote boards to approve this purchase for this school. Because they are an arm, they are a servant of the 36 schools.
Well, it's my understanding in what we read with you, is that now the owner of this facility has now donated that, and now they're looking at having to budget funds for remodeling because it doesn't fit the criteria for a DPI.
I think that was in the video.
It was in there.
Yep, so,
This is what I put in the packet.
Right, so-
He said it's north of the old Chapel, like 300 yards.
Okay, could be.
Okay.
But the question,
the old shop is not there no more.
Yeah, that's how Midsky.
the question I have is, the last day to do this was October 23rd, so it's a moot point. Why are we even doing it?
Yeah.
We had to get it on our agenda or something. So we gave them our board meeting date and they're like, okay, as long as you filled out the paperwork that said it was on your agenda,
Okay.
it's okay.
My question was, I mean, I think it's a no-brainer, we have to do it, but does that make us, liable for anything?
No. No.
Okay.
We only pay per student and only pay if we have a student there. And at least as of right now, costs for students in that program haven't gone
And
up.
we're not liable for any of the building or
No.
anything like that?
No. Nor were we in the building in Waupaca.
I call a motion.
A second.
All right, all those in favor of approving the certificate of acceptance and donation of real estate in Stevens Point, CISA 5, all those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving on to correspondence. Do we have any correspondence?
None.
All right, then moving on to reports.
And I've been pretty reportful tonight, so, and I promised Aurelia it would be a short meeting because there's only 3 action items. So I just wanted the board to understand, we are, I just want you to understand that we had a significant drop. We told you in January that our January, second Friday in January counts dropped by about 20 kids. And we sat in this room where Jim and Aurelia are sitting and went over every kid. And all 19 of those kids made sense. Yep, that family of 3 moved out of the district. Yep, that's the kid that, whatever, graduated early in some cases. Oh yeah, that's the one at... So we knew we were gonna be down about 20 kids. We also knew that we graduated a senior class of about 50. And we brought in a 4K class of about 26. 20 plus 25 is we're down 45 kids. We also, I mean, I guess you guys talked to me about open enrollment. We brought open enrollment down from 82 kids out last year to, to only 70 kids out this year. That's great. 12 fewer kids. And our open enrollment in, 26. And last year, 27. Stayed good. We're gonna save dollars there. We're keeping more kids in the district. But let me be clear. 12 fewer residents choosing to go to another district are 12 fewer FTEs for you and I. That means because open enrollment went down, we lost another 12 kids. So this is not, I'd love to tell you this is a one-off. It's not. This is our enrollment. That's pretty tiny. This is our enrollment in numbers. This is state enrollment, state of Wisconsin since 2005. Can I make it bigger?
Quick
Here?
slideshow.
Oh, but then it's gonna do things I don't like. Okay. This is your fault if I
And
can't.
then you hit escape when you're done.
Okay.
I got you.
So this is the state is in K. This is 870,000 school age students in the state in 2005 has dropped to 792,000. In our district, we've dropped from 792 students in our district to 572 this year. If you look over time, here was a drop of about 50, drop of about 70 in 2 years, drop of almost 100 in 3 years. And then we went up, and then we went significantly down again, and up, and way down, and down a little more, and down a little more, and steady, and down a little more. Dropped all the way to 597. My first year, we went up to 612, up to 611, up to 621, and now we're dropping back down to where we were 4 or 5 years ago. This isn't unusual. If you look at the rank of our district in the state, for 10 years, we've been is somewhere between 270 and 273. And those numbers rank in size of school district. That's because school districts across the state are getting much smaller. Right. And the only thing I'll say, so this is just a graph if you like graphs, this is the state enrollment, kind of goes down. Here's our enrollment over the last 10 years. Kind of steady, goes up a little bit, down a little bit, up a little bit. Now we're backing it down a little bit. The other thing that I wanted to point out, and again, I could talk about this for a long time. I'm also, and I'll work in number 2. I also, I feel honored to be part of the reestablished, thank you Rusowski, economic development team in Waushara County. So at one of our, fine lady, she invited me to represent the schools in the county. Well, while we were there, okay, thank you ma'am. While we were there, one of the slides that the University of Wisconsin-Madison professor shared with us about our county is compared to the United States or even Wisconsin, the percentage of kids under 15 is a chunk smaller in Waushara County. And the percentage of kids aged 15 to 19 is a little smaller. And 2024 is a little smaller. And childbearing years, 25 to 54 is a good chunk smaller. And when you go to, see now you can't see this, age 65 plus, then we jump way up. We're good at that. We got that covered. But those folks ain't having a lot of school age kids.
There you guys around.
You're supporting us on
My
your
back's getting
so this is a problem. Declining enrollment is a problem in the state, problem nationally. Potoma's down 81 kids. We're down 50 kids.
All you have to do
Yeah.
is pay these childbearing people to have more babies.
Something. Well, I would
That's
say.
right.
So you're like, you're not wrong. Well, the things we're talking about, I've talked about it before. Go ahead.
I have a question on
Yeah.
your nice slide program.
Yeah.
So of the 12 students difference this year,
Yep.
how many of those graduated last year? Or is that?
I'll tell you right now. Well, I can tell you that last year, 22 of the open enrolled out were 112. This year, last year, 20 of them were 112. So we actually have
That's
two.
one question I was gonna ask is usually I thought you'd send it with, like, well, you got the 4K and the
Should have
5K. I thought you show every class so that we can see where stuff's going.
And the state changed, that came right from DPI, the PI 1503. The state is now forcing us to, instead of using WSFIP, we're going right into WISE data, so they don't make that pretty report
So we
anymore.
can't look every grade.
We could give that to you, we record it, and we can let you know.
You got a bug on your chest, bro.
Is that a box elder? Would it be gross if I ate them? I'll just put them there for later.
Let's go right ahead.
So I can't tell you which class exactly, but not, they are spread out. So I will just finish with, I wanted you to understand declining enrollment. Next year, we might be up 12 kids, we might be down 10. But please, and public that's here, the economic development team, and I've talked to some of you about this, there are things we can do. This is a location that is extremely attractive. If there were homes that folks could buy, that were maybe that young family with 2 kids that maybe wanted, 1,800 square feet and a decent house and a little lawn. If there were homes, now this is spelled the other way, Harlan Homes, he's probably Randy's neighbor. He moved in, he bought a house in a development on the edge of town, and has 2 young kids. But that was one of the only developments, and Harlan Homes is pretty good money. That's probably not a starter home that I could have started in, or Jody could have started in, but if we can do things to work towards developing housing, working together with the village. Actually, Emily Shout and I are on this committee together, representing kind of our district. Working with local businesses already, Plainfield, Waltz Petroleum, Harlan Farms, donating to the schools, supporting the district. There's a lot going on. There's a lot about this place that really needs to be advertised. But one of our biggest assets, that I-39 corridor, isn't showing us off. And that's something I want to meet with local folks and talk more about. So I won't bore you. I've discussed it here before.
Lots of railroad ties.
Yeah, there's lots of railroad ties. And then I just want to say, as far as CISA 5, our bill is about $350,000 a year we pay to CISA 5. It's a matter of public record. Wild Rose pays about $960,000. Watoma pays just over $1.1 million. Almond Bancroft is $875,000. They don't have their own sped director. They don't have, right there is $200,000. They don't have their own school psych. We're so lucky to have one person who's both.
Yeah.
There's another $150,000. They have 10 kids in one of those programs that we only have 2 kids in. So there's costs, and that could change for us like that. We started a conversation last Friday, I think it was. I just talked to Cindy about it, but we started a conversation of, we often hear from our friend Jeremy, great guy, we love him, but he also said, hey, we got to compete with, when I hire school psych, I got to compete with Madison, Millador, Monroe, whatever, Millador, Wanakee. We talked recently, I met with Wild Rose, Almond Bancroft, Watoma, and myself. Could we find something where the 4 of us consolidated and we're advertising for a school psych in Portage, Waushara, Wapaka County, where maybe the going rate isn't the same as Madison? Could we run a program like they're purchasing together at a lower cost? All we did was start a conversation, and I just wanted you guys to know that I sure as heck hope we're not in those boats that they're in, but we get 10 at $40,000 a kid, get 10 students moving into the district like Almond Bancroft got, that can $500,000. So I just want you to know that I'm working on those things and hoping to find some room for improvement. That's it. How'd I do it, really?
Any questions?
She just shakes her.
Yeah, she's nice. You talked too long, Mr. Dean. Oh, wait, one last thing. I'm sorry, Aurelie. All I want to say, this is it. And I could have done this for later. Save the date. I'll say it again later. November 20th, the school district is serving turkey gravy, mashed potatoes, rolls, green bean casserole, fruit and veggies, waffles and cereal in the morning. Mr. Dedler has personally invited board members to come help serve that lunch on Thursday, November 20th. So what, are you gone? No, you don't get to eat it. No free food, right? Mr. Dedler, do they get to eat? $5.45 a head.
Hey, we're not getting another audit.
What time would be best? About 11, depending on what grade level they want to serve?
Middle school's 11:28, and high school's 10:12.
Or 11, 12, 10.
November.
So be here by
November
10:30.
20th, here by 10:30.
Did we have to call you by what time?
10:30, please.
Yeah, just let me know where.
Or let me know, or let Jody know. It's the Thursday. Oh, the Thursday before Thanksgiving. Just so everybody's got that in there.
Thursday before deer hunting.
Oh yeah, that's true. Jody will keep track of who's coming and let you know for sure. So Dakota's in for all three.
In Wayne.
And Wayne for all three. All right, sorry, Arella. Okay, thanks.
All right, moving on to our student representative. Arella.
Okay, so for TC events, I have a homecoming wrap up. So homecoming week, which was October 6th through the 10th, and homecoming was held on the 11th. The royalty was King Aiden Brewer and Queen Mia Flores Detroit. The juniors, the class of 2027, won the homecoming games. And then for next, we held Day of Caring on October 23rd, which went really good. I think a lot of houses got cleaned up and it looked nice. And then we had the TC Pride Assembly, the second one this year. There was a push-up contest, and Leonardo from the class of 2028 had the highest number with 54 push-ups in 1 minute.
Whoa.
Yeah. Then the co-curricular update.
Suspicious of those push-ups, but go ahead.
Cross country attended the last meet of the season, Saturday, October 25th in Manitowoc. Mariah Caldwell, and Sydney Peck PR'd 6 times. Emily Bowen and Aurelie H. or I were PR'd 5 times. Caillou Yang, Aaliyah Solis, and Wyatt Howard PR'd 3 times throughout the entire season. Soccer made it to the first game of the regionals finals and played against Arcadia, and 0-9 was the end score. Football had its first playoff game at home against Hurley, but lost. Then all fall sports are over now. Winter sports will begin soon. High school girls basketball will start November 10th. High school boys basketball begins November 17th. And the high school wrestling starts November 15th or 11th. I'm not sure which one it was. I got 2 different dates. But FFA is having its national FFA convention in Indianapolis, Indiana. 8 students from Tri-County are attending. Then FBLA will be attending a Wisconsin Herd game November 11th in Oshkosh. And then for the featured class, we have class of 2027. And the class of 2027 and other students raised $930 at Flights Fieldstones, working and helping running the tournaments.
Nice.
Any questions?
Congratulations on your cross country. Thank you, my dear.
Moving on then to Mr. Marty.
So, yeah, I put a few items on here. I really covered a lot of the big events we've got going on, which is good. Our fall testing day was 14th. It was a Tuesday. So 8th through 11th grade students participated in some form or other of a locally sponsored standardized test. So that was good. We had everybody in attendance. They did a pre-ACT 8-9 it is called. Gauged for end of 9th grade. It's really just, it's a good practice for them. We're able to get back their items correct and incorrect for like reference and practice, things like that. So kind of a good, they did a good job with that. 9, 10, and 11th grade all utilized this new platform that we bought this year called Mastery Prep or ACT Online Prep. And in that there's a lot of different skill practice that kids can do all throughout the year, like they each have their own account. But there are truncated full ACT practice tests that they can do up to 3 of them. So like for the math assessment, which on a full ACT is 60 minutes, I think these were 50 minutes, I believe. So it's like literally a 10-minute difference in the time allotments, but results, again, very interactive, and kids in this platform that are able to do a lot of like diagnostic work and practice work in their content areas for math and reading and English and science. So we'll utilize it a lot over the course of the year, but we had really good turnout for it. Our seniors that day they were off campus. Our youth apprentice and work release kids went to the Ameta Center for Midstate, which is their new machining and fabrication school that Midstate opened a year ago. The non-youth apprentice and work release kids all went to UW Oshkosh and got a tour there, so it was a good day. So we moved really mentioned our Day of Caring. It was scheduled for the 22nd. So the 22nd was not a very, very nice day. You could tell coming in on Monday. We thought Wednesday wasn't going to be, so we bumped that to Thursday. we had a beautifully organized day scheduled where this presenter was gonna come in the morning and then we were gonna go after that. So we didn't reschedule him. Pat Eisenberger, who works, for Washera County, he's their, I'm not gonna have his title perfectly right, but he's like their addiction specialist person, right, for the county. He came and he spoke with our high school kids first, about 45 minutes or so, and then our middle school kids came in afterward, and again, he did a talk with them, so some things that he's experienced, and, the Q&A, I mean, it just is the way it is, high school is just kind of like, yeah, got a lot of questions. Middle school's got a lot of questions. Got bombarded by them, which was really good. So it was good to do. I appreciated him coming in. Mrs. Kristoviak organized that with him, so that was a good thing. And then Aurelie mentioned already the FFA National Convention is going on. So we got a bunch of kids down in Indy doing all the fun things that they do every year, and I'm sure they will be here in November to tell you about their endeavors.
Do we have anybody from, I think they would be college age now, but from Pratt County that's getting the American degree this year?
Not to my knowledge.
There was.
So if,
How many
there
years
could be,
out of that?
I haven't seen any, I have not had any paperwork associated with that that's come
One
my
of the
way.
members? Carissa or McKenna? I don't know.
It's possible, but a lot of the time, in the past years when we've had those, I feel like there's been something that came back through that I saw and signed off. Maybe that's not necessary, and maybe Mrs. Gladusky is doing that, so it's possible, there could be.
I'd like to add with the FFA, we were at the FFA alumni, Cindy and I were there, one of the members who were there. And when the student came up and gave a presentation, and what I couldn't believe the graphics that that student had put up and the way it was done. And I asked afterwards, did you do that, or who put that together? She said she did. It was just outstanding that we can have our kids to do things like that. You know, granted, that's beyond me if I had to put one together, but I certainly can appreciate what I'm seeing, and it was just amazing, just really good.
Okay, thank you.
I was like, I knew we just saw a Facebook
So-
post about it, but yeah.
Okay, I didn't think so, but
The reason I asked, my future daughter-in-law is getting hers tomorrow, I believe.
good for her.
So, but she's actually working with Teresa to be potentially the student teacher next semester at here at Pratt County, so.
Very good.
More importantly, future daughter-in-law?
Yes,
He's
future
engaged?
daughter-in-law,
Oh,
yes.
very good, congratulations.
Just speaking of that topic, we do have a practicum kid coming back to us. Morgan Anderson, who graduated a couple years ago, is gonna be coming back and working with Teresa. Just, it's like 4 3-hour afternoons or something. She's at point and she's gonna come back and we'll get to teach her. She likes to do these. So that'll be good to see her. Good that she's doing that.
That's Buffalo.
Any questions?
Thank you, Nick.
Thank
Yeah, thank you. So,
Alrighty, so homecoming went well, the band did great, the parade was awesome, so just wanted to give a shout out to Mr. Kosak and Mrs. Frank also stepped in to help with the middle school band there, directing as they walked, so that was awesome. Our fall Ames Web scores in relation to Act 20, so as you remember, last year was the first year we started the Act 20 testing. It's done on a platform called Ames Web, which I spoke at the last meeting, we were having some trouble with at the beginning of the year, since has all been figured out and we have gotten all the students tested. So last year we had 69 students fall below the 25th percentile, which would have meant that they qualified for a personal reading plan. At the end of the year last year, we still had about 60 of those students that were still technically under a plan. Then you come back the following fall, you reassess, and this year we only had 26. So yes, I know I had mentioned multiple times that the testing cutoffs were very skewed and that they were going to renorm over the summer. They did renorm, which brings things more back in line with where we feel like they're probably at. But 69 PRPs for all of our teachers to write and then progress monitor for last year was absolutely insane, and they did not complain one bit. They just kept up with it, and they worked really, really hard, and they got the students moving along. But this year it's a lot more manageable with the 26. We feel that's a more fair and accurate assessment, as do all the other schools in the state. So that's awesome. So our PD goals this year, as part of the strategic plan, obviously, that we're working on, for our academic success goals, we're working on through a district RTI committee, which is some of my staff, some of Nick's staff, Nick, Barbie, Jamie, and I. We're learning about vertical alignment, and we're talking as small groups, district-wide, and then how we're gonna bridge that to, from my end of my building, from 5th grade to 6th grade, and then from Nick's 8th grade to 9th grade. What that looks like when we look at our standards across the board. So far my staff have already gone back in and looked at which, out of the Wisconsin state standards for reading, math, and writing are, they feel, the most important ones to pick out for moving from grade level to grade level to grade level. That's the vertical alignment that I'm talking about. So our first professional development day during in-service, they worked with their grade level teams on putting together which ones they felt were the most important. And then I took those and combined them onto one single document. And then when we meet again throughout this year, we're gonna look at math, writing, and reading. And then we're gonna look at grade levels below, grade levels above, to make sure that by the time we hand off our kids in 6th grade, they're where they need to be for Nick's teachers to pick them up and keep them moving. And it also just allows us to dig back into the standards and make sure that we're really focusing on what our students need at each grade level, so that when a kindergartner gets up to 1st grade, those kids are ready to go with 1st grade ready skills. When those 1st graders get up to 2nd grade, they're ready to go with those 2nd grade skills. So it's just allowing us to have a little bit more time to put back into focusing on those. And really, the standards have changed over time, so every time they change, you really should be looking back at them again. We already looked at them a couple years ago when we did our standards-based grading rollout. So a lot of them have stayed the same since that period of time. The standards didn't change in the last 2 years, but just refocusing our attention back on it to make sure that we're aligned vertically. So that's going to be one thing they're working on this year. And then we have Amanda Semrod from CISA 5. We partner with CISA 5 for some coaching time. Every year it's already included in. So Amanda's going to be working with us this year on helping us figure out kind of how we're aligning our writing and how we are improving our writing process. One thing that we uncovered as we had conversations all together is that we really have been focused on the Act 20 phonics, phonemic awareness. We did the letters training. I had lots of staff that went back and did the letters 2 training on their own, because letters 1 was really powerful. That was the one we had the grant for. So I really appreciate all the staff that kept that up. But the second kind of step of that letters training then is then putting it all back together with vocab and then into writing. We realized as a staff that we put a lot of emphasis. We have our phonics, we have all of our things kind of going in that direction. Now we need to apply it into writing. Writing, we all recognized, was the hardest thing for our students to do. So it's the first thing that we're like, we're not gonna get to it today because it is really hard and it takes a lot of time. So we made a commitment to ourselves and to each other and to our kids and to our next grade level above us that we're really gonna take the time and we're gonna keep that writing time sacred. And we're going to try to make sure kids are getting writing every day, because the longer we do it, even though it's hard, it's going to become easier, it's going to become easier, it's going to become easier. And by the time we hand off our kids to newly crowned 5th grade teacher, Mrs. Ertl, hopefully they'll be better in 5 years when we hand them off as 5th grade writers than they currently are, just because they've had more practice and we've made a commitment to it. So far, even from last year's samples, to this year's samples, there have already been improvements, and Amanda Semrod will be instrumental in helping us kind of tweak and tailor what we have to figure out the best way to move forward in that direction. And then community engagement on our list of things that we're talking about in our strategic plan and real life. On November 11th, we have our Veterans Day program. So if anybody knows any veterans, or you're married to one, or you are Virginia, or you wanna come on in That's gonna be Tuesday, November 11th. It is at, breakfast starts at 8 a.m. and then we will have a short program at 8:15. The students are always really excited. Mrs. Murray does a nice job teaching the students some things. Every morning we do the pledge. So the kids are excited to be able to do it all together, so they can show off their skills. And we just really like to be able to support the veterans in our community, and that's something that's been important to us for a while. So that's gonna be happening again, and I think that's it. So, thank you.
Any questions?
I just wanna make a sort of a comment from what, Brittany said about the band at homecoming. They were really good, but at their playoff game, I was sad that we didn't win. But when I got here, checked in with Ann and paid her in the hut out there, and I said, did the Hurley band get here? She says, that's them playing. Our band wasn't here. My granddaughter's 8. She was with the 16 people and the teacher playing before the game and after. So I thought that was cool. For me.
Awesome.
I just want to add 2 quick things. I can't talk about report cards until November 13th, I believe. Brittany and Nick have been holding their breaths, and I won't let them talk about it too much. But I just want you to know that we're excited to share some positives that we're excited to share them with you. And we will be sharing them at the next board meeting, and I just wanted to give you that little taste of something else very positive. Nick works with the teachers, and I think Jess played a huge role in the countywide AODA event that our kids went to tonight down at Flights Fieldstones. Jess was one of the mentors there. I just love that we send like 52 kids and Watoma sends like 70, because percentage-wise, we're just so much better represented, and that's pretty awesome. So good job to both of you actually in keeping those things going. That's it. Sorry.
Any questions for Brittany? Great, thank you. Moving on then, are there any announcements to share? Alright.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
You will find on your sheet, I think Jim, Birdie, Dakota, something new this year, Cindy. When I book the hotels, I also have to do your registrations. So we've never done that before, but that's how we have to do that. So I have to have that stuff back by Friday, because 8 o'clock Monday morning.
Monday's booking day.
that
So Mark,
opens.
Randy, Jim.
Any of you that want to go
Wayne,
to
you're welcome.
convention.
We just know that the regulars are often Jim, Birdie, Dakota when you can, even with the little man, and Mexico, and Cindy. So whatever, if you can, all we're saying is gotta have it by Friday, because Wasby said no hotel room without a
Unless you're-
completed member registration.
Because in the past, we could book 5 hotel rooms and then we cancel, and now they're not allowing anybody to do that anymore.
So just get that to us by Friday if you think. We can still, I think we can still cancel both without, for a couple of weeks, but we have to get you registered for every meal you want to attend, everything. Just get in by Friday. If you think you can probably go.
Thank you.
Alright, any other announcements? Alright, moving on to meeting dates. Our next meeting is November 25th, correct?
Yep, right before Thanksgiving.
Alright, do we need a policy meeting?
We do need a policy meeting. I met with Neola today. We will have to schedule a policy meeting in the next, be nice to get that done in the next couple of weeks. It's not a lot of stuff. And we also don't want to forget that we wanted to do we had really enjoyed that team building meeting where we learned about how board exam data is reported, and we learned a ton. We talked about maybe with our test scores coming out, Brittany and Nick and Barbie presenting to the board some of the things they've done to help our test scores do what they're doing, and just what they're learning from those scores and how it compares to their STAR score. So kind of a data retreat with dinner and a special meeting with the board. I'd like to schedule both of those. That's
So
it.
back up, the policy meeting would just be the committee.
Correct.
Okay,
Policy committee.
alright, and the team building thing would be
All.
everyone.
Yes.
And who's on the policy committee?
You are.
Jim, Mark, any dates that definitely don't work at like 3-ish for, you're going to Mexico?
I could fill in for you, Mark.
In Mexico. Not on the policy.
That's not till January, sorry.
I can send out 3 dates to the full board for the team building, send out 3 dates to policy. Alright, I'll do that. You got it.
The next 2 weeks.
Okay, deal.
And then.
That's all I got.
Then do we wanna move the December meeting?
When is it?
It's like December 23rd.
Yeah.
The 23rd.
We're gonna move it to the
So the
16th.
16th, the week before, is that okay?
Yes.
That's my birthday.
Oh!
But my daughter also won the most baskets in the Wisconsin Rapids Shot Club for the summer. She was out there every day from like morning till night, and she had like some crazy amount, 30,000 something shots. But I also am celebrating her that night, so
I will ask the board president for
If-
permission to
if I
let you
can-
be excused.
not
I'm
because
sure
it's my
she-
birthday, but because I have to stand up and cheer for her at the,
Very
at the
good
high
reason.
school game that night.
Awesome,
No.
okay.
Alright. She already said yes.
Alright. Alright, then I guess I would entertain a motion to adjourn at 8:31.
So moved.
Second.
Alright, we adjourn. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very
Thank
much,
you, everybody.
No.
Board members who are doing trivia.
Oh, I just
Oh,
did it to
Cindy
make sure I
Baumgartner,
got the
$50.
times.
Per person.
You were on my team, not your team.
What? No, we're transferring. No. I told you this.
No, you did
I
not.
did too.
No, you did not. And now I'm mad, and I will fight right now. Everyone close your eyes.
No.
We're gonna fight.
We'll fight tomorrow. Yeah, we should stop the recording. Or she